As an Australian, I know it's not my place to comment on the UK election, but come on. You're the only reason we keep making Neighbours. No one in Australia's watched that show in 15 years, so because you've denied us valuable television time that should be rightfully devoted to reruns of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Deborah, can we snuggle?
No, Ray. Tell your mother to stop coming over to the house.
Just 9 seasons?
I've earned the right to ask this. Why aren't you voting for Jeremy Corbyn? You agree with him on every point. 52% of you want railways renationalised, that's more than double those that are opposed. 71% want 0 hours contracts banned. 65% of you think you should increase taxes on anyone earning over £80,000 a year. You want university fees cut, you want council homes increased by $100,000 a year, you want the minimum wage raised to £10 an hour, and yet in every Vox pop I've seen, when people find out that those are Jeremy Corbyn's policies, down the line, it's like they've been asked to listen to Dizzy Rascal's latest album. They fling their heads to the side in pain.
Oh no, I won't be voting for Corbyn. He's very unrealistic, you know.
Based off what, you real-life Postman Pat puppet? Jeremy Corbyn's policies have been costed. That means he's shown you exactly how he's going to pay for them, and the maths is so watertight that even your extremely biased media isn't touching that. They're just nitpicking his document on superficial points like
Very unprofessional font, Helvetica 11, should be in Times New Roman, size 12.
while simultaneously giving a pass to this slightly melted candlestick who hasn't costed hers. So quick recap, the British public is chanting,
Yes, Theresa, may you guide us through the night with your lighthouse head.
despite her having no idea how she's going to pay for policies you don't even like, and yet she's ahead in the polls. Is the Northern Hemisphere opposite land?
No.
Given the context, I've got no idea whether that means yes or no! But I'll tell you what I know. I know that your media outlets insistently chanting that Jeremy Corbyn's policies are unrealistic is really, really unrealistic. It's essentially your TV's telling you
Breaking news in the 2017 election, and Switzerland, Australia, Germany and Norway don't exist. Now to sport, where England played a friendly match with no one. Good night.
those countries have most of, and in many cases, all the programs that Jeremy Corbyn is advocating. State-owned railways, energy grids, a wage livable enough to not have to convince yourself that chicken cottage is food. It is not food. That is just the edible version of and you don't have to take it. I live in the country that your media has convinced you is down under Atlantis, and I'm here to tell you that your economy won't collapse because you own the fucking post office. In fact, in the last 4 decades, Australia's economy has consistently outperformed Britain's. We've had nearly 30 years of continual economic growth in this country, and that's without the population becoming so poor as to think that KFC is the good chicken restaurant.
Popcorn chicken's our Christmas chicken. Who doesn't love a bit of poppy chicky?
And that's because at a pivotal point in our history, we elected a Labour government while Britain seemed to think it'd be funny to get stoned voting Dame Edna as their Prime Minister, who, not my words, Tony Grenham's former business professor, and even more telling than that, former banker, Margaret Thatcher paved the way for the global financial crisis. She fixed it so your banks could invest in anything. Peas, a band of peas that have a smash hit collab entitled Peas and Corn, and of course the Britney Spears cover, You Want a Piece of Me. And if the bank's investment failed, you were punished for it. She made it so the taxpayer was responsible for banks' losses. There must be Taliban generals in caves looking at Margaret Thatcher thinking,
Yeah, there's some real extremist motherfuckers out there.
and then you think Jeremy Corbyn's the disaster because he rocks up to Parliament dressed like a homeless man who thinks he's an astronomer? Well, let's go to the disaster tally board, shall we? Maggie.
Not that Maggie, this Maggie. We have fun, don't we? Click subscribe.
She allowed banks to dump hundreds of billions of pounds into the housing market, which has created one of the largest real estate bubbles in history, so that's looming disaster number one. Then they refused to invest in industry, so manufacturing was halved and replaced with shitload paying jobs at Starbucks, which if you work there, I'm so sorry, but what's the password? As a result, wages have only risen by 4.6% since the 80s, but housing has risen by 1,200%. I failed maths, but I'm pretty sure that 1,200 divided by 4.6 equals you are fucked. Disaster number two. Then, because of that powder keg of irresponsible lending and risky investment, your banks turned the US subprime mortgage crisis into the global financial crisis. So guess what that is? Rhymes with enchilada. That's right, disaster. Big, Big disaster, proudly brought to you by Cyclone Thatcher.
My hair is much like Medusa's, but it's all little hurricanes.
Then when Labour was getting you out of the recession, not my opinion, look at the stats. Labour's spending program had your economy moving towards growth. Then you elected Porky Pig and his merry band of medieval doctors who thought,
The economy's problem is it's got too much blood in it. So we're just gonna pop a couple of leeches on it, Lou.
introduce austerity during a recession. Thank God he wasn't in charge during the Black Plague, otherwise he would have thought,
God is punishing us for not having enough rats.
More rats, you dirty dogs!
the one thing we absolutely know you shouldn't do during a recession, which is to take money out of the economy, and the Tories did it. Disaster number 4. You know what saved you? Labour's policy. 2 years into their term, the Bank of Wales started to increase spending again, which moved your economy back to growth, but thanks to Piggy and Wiggy, you lost hundreds of thousands of jobs and you had one of the slowest recovery rates in the Western world. And yet Theresa May, one of those very medieval doctors, is crowing,
Oh yes, I'm loving that austerity. More leeches. More.
she has the gall to label the man that belongs to the party that saved you from total financial collapse twice a disaster. Scoreboard, bitches! Trusting Conservatives on economic management is like trusting Graham Norton on a night when he has dud guests that you should stick around because there's plenty more excitement just around the corner. Both these people are bullshitting. And yes, I understand how annoying it must be listening to an Aussie tell you how to vote. So why are you listening to an Aussie who's telling you how to vote? At the very least, for the sake of the motherland, can you please stop listening to the third tit on that mutant in Total Recall for your political opinions? The Rolling Stones were wrong. When it comes to Jeremy Corbyn, you can always get what you want, and if you try some time to look up the economic history of your nation, you might also find you get what you need. Yeah, it's a good cover of a classic, but it's no give peas a chance, is it?
Please press the subscribe button now. Come on.